Welcome back, guys and gals. Matty back again. Today we're going to talk some winter camping tips. Now, we're not specifically going to be talking a ton of gear today. If you guys are interested in some, inexpensive winter backpacking gear you can add to your kit to make your life a lot more comfortable out there, I just recently made a video on that, and I'll pop it up in the cards here if you guys want to check that out after you're done watching this one. But let's dive into some of these winter camping and winter backpacking tips. The first tip we're going to talk about today has to do with this guy here. Now, I'm sure many of you guys and gals are very aware of the hot water bottle trick, using an Nalgene with some hot water, throw it in your sleeping bag, adds a little bit of heat and a nice, little warm bottle of warmth in your sleep system. One thing that I don't think very many people talk about, and I have been guilty about not talking about it, is how do you protect yourself from the inevitability of a water bottle leaking. I know the chances of an Nalgene bottle leaking are very slim, but I have seen it happen. I have been in a situation before where I'm hiking out with a friend in minus 25 because their Nalgene bottle leaked in the middle of the night, and they had it in their sleeping bag with them as a hot water bottle, and they woke up at 2 in the morning completely soaked, and the only option we had was to hike out. Pretty easy to mitigate that by adding one of these. Just a simple Ziploc freezer bag. You fill your Nalgene up with your hot water. Make sure that your lid is sealed. You hold it upside down, make sure no water is dripping out. Go to your Ziploc freezer bag. Now this just adds an extra layer of protection inside your sleep system. As my story showed, the last thing you want to deal with is a water bottle leaking inside your sleep system when you're out in the middle of nowhere, or even if you're camping out in your backyard or car camping somewhere and it's cold outside. The last thing you want is a water bottle leaking and all of your sleep system getting soaked. So a simple Ziploc freezer bag just gives you an extra layer of added protection. And one of the benefits of using a Nalgene bottle as a hot water bottle is the Nalgene bottle can handle the hot water, but this also ensures that your water is not frozen when you get up in the morning. So, keeping your water inside your sleeping bag with you is a good idea because it stops your water from freezing overnight. So you're not having to melt snow and you've got access to water first thing in the morning. And we just talked about how it's important to keep your water from freezing overnight and keeping it inside your sleep system. It's also important to keep other items from freezing overnight. There's a lot of items that you carry with you that you may not think about that are very susceptible to cold. And winter backpacking and winter camping conditions, you definitely have to take these items into consideration if you're bringing them with you. And often overlooked is your electronics. Now, I've just got a couple examples of my electronics here. When I'm out on my backpacking trips, I bring a ton of different filming equipment, and all of that stuff goes inside my sleep system with me. Now, I've got my battery bank here and my headlamp. I would also throw my inReach in there and spare batteries and my phone. Essentially anything that has a battery in it is susceptible to cold, and you can lose some charge. Your devices are just not going to work as well in the cold. So keeping them inside your sleep system and keeping them warm is key, especially if you're relying on something like a battery bank to charge your electronics up in the morning. So say you've got an inReach or you've got your phone that you're, relying on as a GPS or as your camera or, your headlamp. Keeping those items warm is definitely going to help prolong the life of them, especially out in cold conditions. And that doesn't just go with your sleep system. While I'm hiking, all of my electronics are inside pockets in my jacket or my sweater or whatever I'm wearing at the time, but they're close to my body so that my body heat's keeping them warm, so that none of my electronics are getting cold, because like we said, cold will definitely zap power out of your electronics and you're going to lose some charge. So if you're carrying electronics with you in the backcountry, definitely got to make sure you keep them warm. So, like your water bottle, keep them inside your sleep system with you. One of the biggest concerns people have when it comes to winter camping and winter backpacking is how are you going to stay warm at night? Now, obviously, like we talked about, you can use a hot water bottle and put some hot water in your Nalgene bottle to give yourself a little bit of extra warmth when you climb into bed. But there's a couple things you can do before you climb into bed that are going to help keep yourself warm throughout the night. Now, the first thing is just going to bed warm. And what I do before I go to bed is I'll do a couple jumping jacks, or I'll drop down and do some push-ups, just anything to get the blood going. I'm very susceptible to having cold feet. I just have really poor circulation in my feet, and I got frostbite as a kid, so my feet are always cold. And I find for myself, if I go to bed and my feet are cold, my feet will not warm up. So I need to make sure that my body is warm, and I need to get, the blood going through my body to warm myself up. So like I said, I'll do a couple jumping jacks or some push-ups or some sit-ups or whatever, just anything I can do to kind of get the blood going for, 30 seconds or a minute before I go to bed. Not enough to break a sweat, but just enough to kind of get the blood going and warm myself up a little bit. And another thing that you can do to keep yourself warm throughout the night is just simply eating something before you go to bed. Now, myself, I usually save a granola bar and a couple pieces of jerky or a couple pepperoni sticks for just before I go to bed. Now, I'll eat those, go hang up my food, and climb into bed, and the digestion process in your body overnight will warm up your body. So just using the natural process of digestion within your body to help produce body heat is a great way to help push yourself through the night, keep yourself warm. Now, the reason I go with jerky or pepperoni sticks is proteins tend to break down a little slower, so it prolongs the digestion process and it helps you push that heat a little bit further. And along the same lines, if you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to go pee and it's cold outside, get up and go pee. Don't try and hold it and just ignore it, thinking that the feeling will go away and you'll fall back asleep. Because while that can happen, your body is going to use more energy keeping the pee inside your bladder warm than it will be if you just simply get up, climb out of bed, take a quick pee, climb back into bed. Your body is going to be able to better utilize its energy, and you're going to lose less body heat keeping the pee inside your body warm if you just simply get up and go take a piss, go take a piss, go take a piss, go take a piss, go take a piss. Another very important thing to think about when it comes to winter camping and sleeping overnight outside in the cold is moisture management. Now, one of the biggest tips I can give you guys when it comes to going to bed and going to sleep overnight out in the cold is bringing an entire set of sleep clothes with you, changing out of the clothes that you've hiked in and changing into a completely fresh, dry set of clothes is absolutely key in the wintertime. You want to make sure that the clothing next to your body has got absolutely no moisture in it, because that moisture is just going to work against you and you're going to risk getting cold and, getting into a bad situation overnight. So bringing a full change of clothes specifically to sleep in, like fleece pants, a merino top, or some kind of base layer top, or base layer pants if you don't want fleece pants, a change of socks, a different toque to wear overnight. Bringing a separate set of clothes for when you climb into bed is going to be such a huge help. Don't overlook moisture management when it comes to winter camping and winter backpacking trips. Now, this next one is one that I see a lot of people do out in the field, and I've seen a lot of different YouTubers give as advice, and I'm here to tell you guys that I think the advice that some of these YouTubers are giving you guys is absolutely terrible. And I'm going to tell you guys exactly why. Now, I talked earlier about eating before you go to bed to use the digestion process to help keep your body warm throughout the night. Now, advice that I've seen a lot of people give is to bring a snack with you into bed. Specifically the area that I live in, where I hike in grizzly and black bear country all the time, the common misconception is that bears hibernate and go to sleep all winter, and that's just simply not true. Bears don't hibernate. They get up and they move around quite regularly throughout the wintertime. So you've still got to think about bears even when you're out on a winter camping trip. But if you don't live in bear country, the next thing you got to worry about, and it's something that we have to worry about in bear country as well, is rodents. Bringing food into your shelter system is just an open invitation to get mice chewing through the side of your tent and chewing through stuff sacks and, chewing through your sleeping bag or wherever you've got this granola bar. They will get it and they will find it. Like I said earlier, where I was out on a trip with a friend who had an Nalgene bottle leak in his pack, I've also been out on trips with people where they just bring their food into their tent with them, and they bring a granola bar into their sleeping bag and wake up in the middle of the night with a mouse in the bottom of their sleeping bag chewing up a granola bar. It's absolutely disgusting. It's not something you want to deal with. So even on a winter camping trip, guys, take your food, throw it in your food bag at the end of the night, hang it up in the tree. Don't bring your food into your tent with you. You don't want bears coming through your tent, and you definitely don't want rodents getting into your tent. It's disgusting and just not something you want to deal with. So yeah, don't be bringing food into your tent. It's just not good advice. If you guys enjoyed these tips and tricks I talked about today, and you guys want some more winter camping and winter backpacking tips, what I've got over here for you guys is a video I made last year on cheap winter backpacking tips. So when you guys are done watching this one, head over there, check that one out. As always, guys, I am Matty. Thank you guys so dang much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.